Okay, I want to teach in this edition of El Bembo Unplugged, I want to teach something about headlines that I really believe is one of those headline things that is so obvious and so simple and so non-sexy that this is why you probably have never heard it before. Well, maybe you have, I don't know, but it's amazing to me how easy this makes writing headlines for your sales letters or anything really. It could be articles, any kind of content really, and to help you theme your sales letter and help kind of direct the story part of your sales letter and everything else. Now, to illustrate what I'm going to say, because this is a very simple thing, and I don't really want this to get lost in the simplicity because, it's not something sexy you'll hear on stage or anything like that. You probably won't hear any of your Facebook friends say, like, this is the headline secret you won't hear your Facebook friends talk about. Although, it's funny, sometimes I teach this stuff and then magically somebody starts teaching things on Facebook about it. And I don't, maybe it's just coincidence, I don't know. When I first started teaching Jim Camp stuff about principles versus tactics, suddenly everybody was a principles versus tactics. It was kind of funny. Hopefully this catches on too, though, because this is all good information that people need. So I don't do client work. I don't like doing client work. I hate doing client work. I think it's pretty obvious. Anyone who's followed me for any length of time, I don't like doing client work. And there are many reasons for this. But ever since I launched Email Players, I haven't done any client work, except one time. In 2016, somebody I was apprenticing or had apprenticed at one time was supposed to write a sales letter for somebody, and I was going to get paid to do the consulting of it, to oversee it, to make sure this person did it right. Well, it turns out this person kind of flaked out and didn't do the sales letter, so I just picked it up and ran with it because the client was actually a friend of mine, and I didn't want to see him, deal with that kind of crap and it reflect poorly on me and everything. This is why I don't do apprentice stuff anymore either. But I wrote the sales letter, and when I wrote it in a couple days. It didn't take me very long, and the results were pretty good. I got a voicemail from this client. Basically, it was like a $900 course or $997 course in the real estate world. And I get this voicemail from him. He says, Ben, for every $150 in ad spend, we're making like 2 sales. So it's like $2,000 for every $150 in ad spend. So this gives you an idea of, and this is the cold traffic. So this gives you an idea that the headline must have worked, is my whole point. I mean, there was a whole sales letter attached to that headline, but the headline is 80% of the battle. So whatever I said must have worked, and it didn't take me long to write any of this. I didn't struggle over this headline. I didn't write 100 headlines out like you're supposed to do and all that. I didn't do any of that shit. I just did what I'm about to tell you, and that was the headline, and that themed the whole ad for me, and it drove the story and everything else, and that's why I could write it so fast. All right, so what did I do to write? What was this? I actually couldn't even tell you what the headline was because this was 2 years ago, but I can tell you how I wrote it. I went to the client, and this is the first conversation I had with him during the research phase. And I said, all right, because this is for people this is basically for real estate agents and mortgage brokers and that sort of thing. And they have a very unique challenge. Like they really suck at generating leads. They chase leads. They just go to Zillow and all that, and the usual places. They're really garbage leads they find, and they're chasing them down. And they don't really know anything about marketing, especially online. They don't know how to generate leads. This is a mystery to them, this whole online marketing world. A lot of these are like older guys and girls, and it's not like baby boomers and all that, and this is not their thing. So I said, look, when this guy comes home at night, what does he say to his wife? What does he complain about as far as this problem he has to his wife? And the client says, you know what, Ben? I can tell you exactly what he says when he goes to bed at night, XYZ, whatever it was. I don't remember the exact words, but it was basically, how the hell am I going to find leads? Something like that. And what he said, I just kind of took it down. I just wrote it down. Eugene Schwartz style, that's how he would write his sales letters. He would just listen to the client talk about the market, write down anything interesting. kind of like an antenna, just looking for the right thing. And that's all I did. I took it down. I basically turned exactly what he said. What did he complain about to his spouse at night when he goes to bed? What does he complain about when he wakes up in the morning? What's this thing plaguing his mind in regards to this problem? And that was the headline. And I've written many ads like that. And it takes all the pressure off. It takes all the stress off. It's not about you having to come up with something cool and sexy to impress other copywriters and advertising critics. It's about the market. It's always about the market. And that's all I did. And I think I put it into like a how-to thing. I really couldn't even remember the headline, what it was, but it doesn't really matter. That's how you do it. What do they complain about to their spouse at night before they go to bed? And it may not even be a complaint. It might be, what do they want? What do they dream about? What do they say? Oh, wish I can't wait. This is what I really want. Maybe it's not like a problem that plagues them, but maybe it's a desire they have. But if you can find this out, and sometimes just ask people in the market. You'll find this information out if you know your market well enough. If you're a fly on the wall of the right forums and where they hang out, and you just around your market, if you do your market research, you have this. It should not take you, a week to write a headline. I know this is the legendary thing that you have to do, because there was a time when you had to do that. Copywriting has changed. It's become so much easier to do market research, and in my opinion. And that's the secret. That is the secret. The headline secret that your Facebook friends are not talking about, and that can make you a lot of money. And again, I've done this at multiple sales. This is not a big deal. And so there you go. That ends another edition of El Bembo Unplugged.